Hello, hello, hello. So, if you guys, you know how it works, let me know. Can you hear me? Can you see me? Can you see me? Can you hear me? All right, let's do this. Let's do this. Mm, all right. Good morning. Hey, all right. So, good morning, my Aquarius sister. Good morning, Phil M. Good morning, good afternoon, Alison. Hello from Australia, Belinda. Lovely to have you. Thank you. Yes, you can hear me, you can see me. Hello from France. Hey, Jan. Hope you are okay. All right. Thank you so much, everybody that is here right now, for being here. I appreciate and love each and every single one of you. So, if you are new to my channel, I am Raphael. I am, well, welcome to Radiant Reality, should I say? I am an astrologer, tarot reader, numerologist, and energy worker. Those are my core four. That is my bag, and that is how I come to all of the conclusions that I do whenever I'm talking about astrology. I am talking about whole sign tropical Western astrology for those of you that would like to know. That's how I get my calculations. Hello, Radiant Angel Energy. How are you? Lovely to have you. And yeah, lovely to have all of you. So, welcome, welcome, welcome. So, today is Venus vibes, love, harmony, and creativity. You know what it is all about. So, if you are new here, today we're going to be talking about Venus, the goddess of love, beauty, and harmony, right? Venus is money, but she's kind of like the luxury that we get from money. There's so much more to Venus than just the things that we know about her. Now, we're going to be talking about the Venus vibes. So, like I said, we are really going to explore this from all of those different angles. And we're going to take a look at Venus's transit through the current sign. She's in the sign of Scorpio at the moment. So she is currently in detriment. But that doesn't mean that we throw the whole thing out with the bathwater, right? There are still good things that can come out of this. It just means that we have to get a little bit deeper. The surface level, whenever we're talking about Scorpio energy, the surface level of anything just won't cut it, right? You've got to bring the goods. You've got to be showing up with all of that good. And what I mean by this is, Scorpio is a sign that's known to be very deep. Now, lots of people talk about this as being dark. One thing that I impress on my students in my tarot course, and I talk about this a lot there, is this idea that when we talk about darkness, think about the things that take place at night. Right? There's a whole ecosystem that happens at night. There's a whole ecosystem of, life that happens in the depth of the ocean where barely any light penetrates. On top of that, when you think about how we come to be, think about the cosmic womb. Think about what happens in the dark and the warm spaces of the world and the human body. Life gestates in there, right? So this idea that, darkness is just a bad thing, we really need to get rid of that, right? Now, that being said, if you've been with me long enough, you will have heard me say this. I genuinely believe that Scorpio people, a lot of them come into life already quite enlightened, which is how they are able to utilize and work with that dark energy so well. It's like they just move through the dark spaces and it doesn't really phase them. They're able to look at the darkness of the world and people and understand it that much more. Scorpio is a sign of money, hidden wealth, right? Big financial institutions and all of that kind of stuff is very scorpionic. Um, Scorpio is also a very psychologically astute sign, really attuned to the undertones and the under sort of elements, the underbelly, if you like, right? And so when we think about Venus in the sign of Scorpio, in terms of love, Venus in Scorpio is going to be very much about intensity, desire, passion, the raw sort of primal sexuality of everything. This is a Venus that says, if we're all about love and connection and interaction, you are mine. And that is all there is to it. Venus in Scorpio is, 50 shades of grey, right? And everything in between. In terms of beauty, it's about finding the beauty in the macabre, finding beauty in the difference, finding beauty in the unconventional, finding beauty in the taboo, right? One thing that I always think about with Venus in Scorpio is I don't know if you know this, but in the circa late 1800s, early 1900s, there used to be this trend of basically like when your loved ones passed away, they would dress them up and set them like in proper actual scenes. So like sat at a dinner table, like engaging in whatever was taking place. And obviously their eyes would be closed because they were, there was this idea of suspension of the life, right? As it were. That's what I mean about finding the beauty in the taboo, right? And Venus in Scorpio is so much more than that as well, right? It's the smack of the hand on the bot, right? It's the bite mark on the neck. It's the intensity of staring into a partner's eyes mid, mid, mid. I'm not going to go into too much here because we are live on YouTube on a Friday afternoon. Um, right, but we're going to talk about it, right? In terms of harmony, this is about really getting to the root or the heart of whatever it is at that space of our lives, right? So wherever Scorpio is in your life, remember Venus is a sweetening energy. So she makes things in that area easier. She makes us more attractive in that space. She makes us more diplomatic in that space. So whatever house this falls in for you, you will be experiencing a lightness in that space, or you will be wanting to make that space or that area of your life that much more beautiful. So I can give you a really good example of my own life right now. So Scorpio is my fourth house. I've currently got Venus moving through the fourth house, and all I can think of is making the new place pretty. And I'm like, I want to take that wall out, I want to do this, I want to make this look like this, and all of the rest of it. I can feel it working in that way. And also, when it comes to the fourth house, remember the fourth house is also family, familial ties, your personal heritage and history. And there's a lot of internal shifting and sort of not making allowances so much, but there's a lot of things that I'm looking at in terms of my family, my heritage, my history, where I come from, the family that I was born to, that I'm kind of like, you know what, it's at this point, at this level of maturity, some of this you gotta be okay to let go, right? So, uh, Laurel Berg says, hello, crazy week. Jan says, I had Venus in Aries, the Taurus garden. Buenos dias. Hello, hello, hello. Cindy B, what's up? Lovely. Zero N. Good to have you. I'm finally catching you live. Okay, I'll see you, Zero N. All right, Nikki, good morning. Hello, hello, hello. Laurel Berg, my Scorpio rising sister. And Aurora Laurel, hello from Hedsor. Lovely to have you. And Asleep by Nine, thank you so much. So the people that are out here in the comments that have a green name and those little stars that you see, I know, right? It looks good. I'm going to highlight this because it's a Venus day. The reason they're out here looking so good is because they are channel members. So I always try to get to shout out those people first because they are my, they're my inner sanctum. They are the Radiant Riders, as I like to call it. These are my ride or dies who get the weeklies and they're beginning to get me so much more very, very soon. Now, that being said, get at me in the comments. Give me some hearts, right? Give me some hearts. Let me see the hearts roll through the comments up in here. I want to see it. I want to see all of those hearts. And I don't care what color they are. They can be white, black, red, pink, green. It's all good and it's all love. I want to see it. We're here talking about the goddess of love. So let's see it. Let's see some of these hearts out here in the comments. Okay, I'll see you, Laurel. Give me these hearts. Yes, 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 yes. All right, nice, 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 nice. Let me see it. Let me see it. Let me see it. Woo woo. All right, good stuff. Good stuff. So, those of you that are here right now, If you are watching this past 12 p.m. UK time, you'll be watching the recording. So I'm not speaking directly to you because sometimes I get comments from people that think they're watching the live. So just double check that. But that being said, I want to know, for those of you that are here right now, where is Scorpio in your chart? What house does it occupy for you? Oh yeah, absolutely. It's always a good day to have a good day, right? So, what house does Scorpio occupy for you? So your first house, right? So the Lady of Love and Beauty and Harmony is in your first house, Laurel. So what this means is she's making you more attractive to other people. So this is a really good time to ask for the things that you want or need. Aurora, second and third house. So you're probably using a different house system to me. So I'm just going to take the second. Yeah, second and Amy Pyer, this is all about your money, your resources. And Venus loves the second house because it's a space that she understands really well. Now, that being said, Venus is also values and talents. This might be a time where Venus is trying to show you what the deeper talents and what the deeper talents, but more importantly, what the deeper worth you actually have, right? This might be a really good time for you to start to understand just what you have to offer and why it is so very valuable to the world. Nikki says Scorpio in the third house, right? So communications, conversations. She's smoothing that over for you. So again, because the third house is communications, it's contracts. If you've got anything like that that needs to go through at this time, use that to your advantage, right? Because she's there. Venus is diplomacy as well. Hippie Chick says, good morning, Venus in the 12th, right? So you want to be doing dream manifestation. You want to be trying to remember your dreams. This is a great time for meditation. It's a really wonderful time to make peace with your past in some way as well. That could be really great for you to do right now. If Cindy's got it in the eighth house, so what is it that you're ready to transform, to release, or to let go of? Where is it that you're ready to transcend something and let it go for good? Venus could make that so much easier for you. Venus moving through the eighth is a really interesting one because it can certainly on a natal level, it's said that Venus in the eighth house brings what they call the touch of the goddess, which means that now is actually a really powerful time for healing. So you could do this for others, or you could focus it on yourself, especially on that sort of deep psychological level. Um, So Shari says the 10th and 11th house. I use whole signs, so I'm just going to take your 10th house. That would be your career. Venus is your talents and your skills. It helps you shine out there in the world. So really, she's helping you shine out there in the world. So if you haven't got something that you want to put out, make something, make some noise, make some ripples, because right now people are receiving you really well. You are attractive to people, right? Radiant angel energy. Yes, absolutely. Venus in the 10th. If you don't have something to put out, put something out anyway. Paul Grutzemacher, hello, brother. It's good to hear from you. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Yeah, third house. So I talked about that one, Namira. You're not seeing this. I've been forbidden to use it, but I love my Sports Direct mug. So I'm keeping it, damn it. This is where my little rebellious Aquarius heart gets in the way, right? So Venus in my sixth house, right? So your sixth house is your physical health and vitality. If you really want to start enhancing your physical health and vitality at this moment in time, now would be a really good time to do it. This is about really maximizing on this because Venus makes it easier to do things. That being said, Venus loves sweet things. So if you're having Venus transit through your second house and your sixth house, right now you could probably notice that you've got that much more of a sweet tooth than you usually do. So you have to find a way to kind of to curb that, right? Now, that being said, if it's in your sixth house, if you've had problems or challenges or issues with people that you work with, if you've got employees, maybe you've had problems with them, maybe even had problems or issues with a pet. This could bring some level of healing and or smoothing things over around these things. But a sixth house Venus, I mean, it's not her favorite place to be fair. But even still, you could use this to your advantage. And the other thing is, the sixth house is your daily grind, right? So if you have patterns, habits, and routines that are outdated, use Venus to change them, right? To clean them up, to tighten them up, to sharpen them up, to make them that much more, what's the word that I'm looking for? To make them that much more, not relevant, but refined. That's probably a better word to use. Okay, so as we say, Venus is currently in the sign of her detriment, but it's not always, it's not always that, oh my gosh, the world is ending because Venus is in detriment. It's not that. You just have to find different ways to tap into that energy. Now, that being said, Venus does rule two other, Venus rules two signs in the zodiac. So Libra and Taurus, wherever those signs are in your chart, they are implicated for being a little bit more intense than usual because Venus is in the sign of Scorpio. Now, we've just off the back of an eclipse, which was a Venusian eclipse, but Venus is in the sign of Scorpio. So get at me in the comments. I want to hear from you, right? Today in particular, I want to hear your eclipse stories. Have you noticed something starting to show up in that specific area of life? What's going on? Right? In this area of your chart, I'm talking specifically about the eclipse now. So, where is the Libran part of your chart? Think about that. And then think about the Taurus part of your chart. What's been showing up for you in those different areas? Sorry, to crack my neck. I'm really sore at the minute. What's going on in those areas of life for you? How did that eclipse show up for you? Has it started to show up yet? Or are you still kind of just, moseying on and moseying through? All right. While you guys are getting to that, I'm going to put this up. So, can you let me know in the chat? Can you see the chart? So, Laurel says, yes, family issue. I was able to let it go in a healthy way. That's brilliant, right? This is one of the reasons that we love astrology. It's one of the reasons that we love using this work because that way we can sidestep the challenges and lean into the blessings. That's what all of this is about. It's about making your life better, finding ways to understand the experiences that you're having. Hey, Bingers, lovely to have you. How you doing? All right. So I'm going to share the chart now, and I just want you guys to let me know if you can see it. Can you see the chart now? Sorry, I'm just having a little bit of a mad moment. All right, natal sun in Taurus, fifth house, helping sun with a college paper. Yeah, look at that. Wow, right? That's really quite on the nose as well. Yeah, I love that. All right. Aurora says first, second, Libra. So I would take it as first and eighth. And it would be so you actually know I would take it as second and eighth then, because neither one of those is the change of self-worth in terms of relationships. Yeah, I can see that. And for you, Aurora, I actually feel like that is the case. I don't know, I mean, obviously, I haven't seen your chart, I don't know you personally, but there is a real feeling of that being the biggest trope that kind of unfolds. for you. It's like this really, I don't know why, it's just I'm looking at your picture and I've got like this really strong gut feeling that it really is about you understanding what you bring to the table and just how much of that really is a lot more valuable and worthy and yeah, a lot more valuable and worthy than maybe you have ascribed to or tribute or attributed to yourself as of late, right? Bingers, all good here. Love your content and energy so much. Oh man, thank you so much. That really feels good. I appreciate you. Thank you for that. It really means a lot. Okay, so 7th and 11th. Yeah, so relationships and group dynamics, Laurel. How have those been playing out for you recently? Okay, so you can see the chart. So here she is, the Lady Venus, right? So I always set the chart for about 12 o'clock. Obviously, it's in London. Ignore the houses. We're kind of looking at this as a flat chart. So what is she doing, right? What is Venus in the sign of Scorpio doing? She's sending positive rays of energy to her lover, her celestial lover, Mars, right? So what's interesting is Mars is in his fall in Cancer. Venus is in her detriment, and they're both like, well, we're both stuffed, but let's make the best of what we've got, right? Now, on top of that, they are in that grand water trine. So I have been banging on about this for the better part of like 2 weeks now, and we're here, right? This is the point. Venus is at 13 degrees of Scorpio. Saturn retrograde is at 14 degrees of Pisces, and Mars is at 16 degrees of Cancer. Now, as we move forward, watch what happens to the degrees. So I'm going to take this forward by some days. So as we come into tomorrow and the weekend, we've got the bitter old queens meeting up. We talked about that last week, right? But this is the strengthening of this trine. But at this point, it starts to separate because you can see here, even though Saturn is retrograde, and so technically well, it is moving backward. Once Venus passes, so as of tomorrow, that grand trine, although it's going to hold, it's going to start to separate. So really and truthfully, you've got today and tomorrow to tap into this energy. Yes, it will still be around for a few more days, but it will start to dissipate moving forward, right? As we come into Saturday, you can see here Mars at 17. This is an important day, which I've talked about in the Mars Moves video and various others as well. This is important because whatever's happening here, we're going to be revisiting again later, well, right the way through until April of 2025. But Venus, right? She's still holding that trine, so she's still getting good energy, sending good energy. As we come into Monday at the start of the week, her and Saturn are really holding that trine, separating now from Saturn. Sorry, her and Mars, Venus and Mars are holding that trine. As we come into Tuesday, it's going to be at 18 and 18. So her and Mars are again, tight in that trine, but we're losing Saturn now more and more because everything's shifting forward. And then we come into the 19th, the 19 degrees on Wednesday on the 9th. Now, this is the same day that Jupiter, our greater benefic, because Venus is known as the lesser benefic, right? So she's the lesser blessing energy. Jupiter is the major blessing energy. He goes retrograde. So at this point, we're kind of really relying on Venus. And from here on in, I mean, it's still a wide orb, but once we get into Thursday, look at what happens. At 21 degrees, she starts to oppose Uranus, right? So what this tells me is because it is Scorpio and Taurus, it's the Scorpio and Taurus axis of our charts. it's very likely that relationships are going to get a bit more testy. I wouldn't be surprised if we start to see more seismic activity. I would also be very intrigued to see what's happening on the wider world stage around money, finances, and resources and trade negotiations at this point, right? So, as we come into sort of Thursday next week, edging on towards, moving into the space of next week's Venus vibes, which let's have a look, right? She'll be at 22 degrees at that point. And starting to really, I mean, we're going to start to really feel that, and that Uranus retrograde as well. I have a feeling because Venus, as we say, Venus is food, Venus is luxury, it's money, it's the pleasure that we derive from the goods and services, etc. Truthfully speaking, Mercury is money because it's the transactional nature of things, like it's the flow. Money comes in, money goes out, right? And that's what Mercury does. It comes and goes, it's back and forward, and all of those things. What I will say is, yeah, I do think there's going to be some earth shifts next week, certainly by the time we get into Thursday, as that Venus starts to apply to the opposition of Uranus in the sign of Taurus. So, and this is the ruler of that Uranus at this time is Venus, and look where she is, right? In the sign of Scorpio. So there are going to be big things around money, resources. We're already starting to see, I don't know if anybody follows the news. I try not to, but whatever snippets I catch, I try to put them through the lens or the guise of whatever's happening astrologically. Right now, here in the UK, I don't know if you know this, but there are big talks around inheritance, money, right, from people passing away, etc. Scorpio is the sign of death, inheritance, taxes. So right now there are big conversations taking place about inheritance tax, who should pay it, when they should pay it, why they have to pay it, which, truthfully speaking, in my personal humble opinion, is crazy. Like, how can you tax somebody for dying? Like, I just, it doesn't compute to me. Like, it just, it doesn't, there's just no way it makes sense. In California, we all talk about unseasonable warm weather and earthquakes. It's been rather warm lately. Okay, well, first of all, covering you all in California and spelling you safe. I know something happened just recently with was it a hurricane? I really hope you guys are okay if you're out there, if anybody's been affected by it. And I am dedicating some time and space to that in my meditations. So, I hope that is good energy that is put out there for everyone. But yeah, I think there's definitely going to be some weather stuff for sure. I think there will probably be some conversations more so around money, and there might even be conversations around food as well, because Taurus is involved and implicated, right? So yeah, and then obviously because Venus is the ruler of Libra, I wonder how much of this is about conflict resolution and negotiations and stuff. I don't know. I just get the feeling that we're going to move towards something, but maybe it doesn't fully come off in the way that we expect. So, interesting times for sure. Good morning, Keisha. Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, Heidi. Hello, hello, hello. So, I would like to take a breath. I would like all of you to take a breath with me to be present in the moment. And I would like to bless my deck of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity, and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise, and they help us all on our paths to our highest vibrational good. So I'm going to give these a shuffle. Laurel says many farms here were damaged from the hurricane and the prices and supply issues. Yeah, right. And it tends to be the way, because if it's something that you need, the price goes up. And obviously, the only issue with that is it means that the haves and the have-nots, just the the division between them gets bigger, right? So if you are one of the people affected, if you're watching this, I know this is the last thing on your mind at this moment in time, but if you happen to watch this and let's say, prices are really crazy, band together. Find people who also don't necessarily have big money on them or at their disposal. Band together and buy things in bulk that you can share out and divide between you, right? So if you get 5 or 6 people, you can buy, I don't know, a massive thing of rice, right, at a much cheaper price, by the way, and then you can portion it up between the 6 of you, and then that way at least all of you have access to something. It's the only thing really that's coming to mind that I can suggest, right? But this idea, and I think moving forward, this is the way that it's going to be. I think we're going to see more and more of this because there's already discussions about it here in the UK. This whole idea of centralization, it doesn't work anymore. We're seeing that. The reason things are breaking down is because we can see that centralization doesn't work. So regional and district, right? Like we're going to have to start sort of being more self-governing, I think, right? And I think this is what Pluto in the final degrees of Capricorn is really trying to show us at this moment in time. It's like the old systems just really haven't, there's been so much coming together by the communities depending on the government isn't working. Absolutely, right? And this always reminds me, there's a song by, I don't know if you know the artist Birdie. She came out when she was like super young. I think she was like 15 when she got her record deal. And when I say like there are not many people that I would say have like an angelic voice, but she is absolutely one of them. She's like 25 or something now, maybe even 30, I don't know. Anyway, that's not the point. The point is she wrote a song called People Help the People. And that is the truth of it. I'm so glad I managed to catch myself. When the stuff hits the fan, it's the communities that pull together. It's the people that help the people. It's not the governments. They're very usually nowhere to be seen unless there's money or tax in it, right? So, you know what? People help the people. Come together as a people and do what you can for each other. Um, yeah, buy in bulk and buy in bulk together so that way whatever you've got you can divide it amongst yourselves and then that way you've all got something, right? And I'll never forget this. I was talking to my dad about this about 2 weeks ago now. When I was younger, I didn't have my first sort of out of the country holiday until I was like 15. And I never forget because I went to stay with family in Greece, and the local kids there, they all used to play together. They would just, and some of them had money, they had parents that had good jobs, and then some of them didn't have money. But it was never an issue. And I never forget one day we went out to eat, all of us, and we all just put money in and we just ordered for the table, right? And when the bill came, it was paid as one. There was no, you didn't have any money, so you can't have any, or there was none of that. It was just, we do it together, we eat together, we pay together, and it's done. Whoever contributed, excellent. Whoever didn't, no problem, right? And that really taught me something about how, as a community, right? And I'm talking about Venus, connection, right? Connection, harmony, finding the way to impact the world or our local surroundings through our connections, through our interactions, through our bonding, let's say, right? So I hope that helps. I hope that, and this is not to say like, oh, look at me. We have crappy weather, but we never have anything like what you guys have. So, it's not me sitting here on a soapbox telling you how to do it. I'm just trying to offer some kind of help or some idea or a solution. Um, okay, so that being said, yeah, of course. I mean, when stuff like that happens, when it's big stuff, what else can you do, right? Like, and if you're not prepared, as a lot of people usually aren't. And that's by design, right? Because we're kept sort of chasing our tails so that we can't think of this stuff, so that when it does get on top, usually the people that are, without or don't have are the ones that don't have a great deal of money. Um, which is unfortunate, right? That aspect of our world needs to change. And I mean, it's going to anyway. You just wait to see what 2025 has in store. And I personally feel like this is going to be the start of some very good things to come. That being said, I already blessed my cards. Someone please tell me when to stop. Let's pull some cards for this Venusian energy today. All right. Mm, Here we go. Yes. All right. So the first card, the love magnet. All right. Oh, I love that. Laurel says every week we have a family dinner to have all because those starting out is a nice relief. Absolutely. And it's also, thank you, Taurus Garden. It's just nice to get together. To have your people close. No, we're not always going to get on, right? But it's important to come together because sometimes all you have is the people that you have, right? And it's wise to use that. Okay, so your first card, the love magnet. This is about the attraction and connection. So for this, we've got the Seven of Wands. And in order to open up to improve our relationships, this energy really is saying that you've got to go through the tough stuff, right? Venus in Scorpio is no wimp. Venus in Scorpio is ready, right? She's going to have that conversation. She's going to speak up. The thing about the Seven of Wands, it's about knowing where you are in the right and also being tough and strong enough internally to know when you're in the wrong, right? And to just be really honest about which one that is. Nobody likes to be wrong. We all want to save face, right? It makes sense because that's how we are as human beings. Everybody wants to win. Now, one thing I want to say to you is look at that. We are designed to win. There's a reason that you feel good when you win. Your biology, everything about you, your body, your mind, your ego, your instincts, your intuition, it's all designed for you to win. Do not give up by any stretch, right? Everything about you is built for success. Everything about you is built for success. Some days that success is going to be getting out of bed and facing the world. And sometimes that success is going to be going out there and conquering the world. Whichever one it is, success is still success. All right? Just something that I want you all to know. Your second card, the creative spark, right? So, how do we tap into that creativity and self expression? And how do we bring that beauty into our lives? Well, this week we have the Ten of Wands. By letting it the go. I had to really hold that one in. I was like, no, 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 don't do it, don't do it. You've done really well up until this point by letting it go, right? The Ten of Wands is about a release of a burden. And in terms of our creativity, this week, it's not so much about tapping into the creativity, it's about getting rid of and letting go of the stuff that's in the way of your creativity, right? This is really the best way to tap into your Venusian energy this week is to move your body. Ooh, move your body, girl, make the fellas go. Right? This is about moving your body and finding a way to enhance your personal projects is really about doing the movement, right? And when I talk about the movement, it's not just about moving the physical body, but moving the energy body, right? To really say to yourself, okay, you know what? This is stopping me from being creative. This is stopping me from making the best move that I can make. This is stopping me from having the best that I can have. Oh, listen. I am in love with Shabuzi. And do you know what's so funny as well? Like before Her Majesty dropped her album, I have been listening to, I'm going to share this with the world now, so I'm going to shame myself, but I don't care. There is on Apple Music. there is a playlist called Country Caffeine. It's my guilty pleasure, right? I'm telling you, it's so funny, right? Because you can imagine there's me pulling up at the lights, singing along to all these country songs, and everyone's just like, "What is go? Why? Who's that playing all of this, all of this hooting and hollering so loud?" Right? And it's me. I love it. I absolutely love it. It's a really, really good playlist of all like the current country music that's going on at the moment. And I've been listening to this playlist for about 3 years. So obviously, when the album dropped and everyone was like, "Oh my God," I was like, "I know Shabuzi. I already knew about this guy long before he was out here doing." Yeah, listen, Shabuzi's my boy, man, and I really love the fact that he's getting the recognition that he deserves. In all fairness, right? So for that, we salute you, Queen Bee. We salute you, right? It's a Venus Day after all. We've got to appreciate talent out here. Um, now, that being said, whatever is stopping you from getting your shine on, from you tapping into your creativity, let it go, right? Just find a way to release it or use that energy to create that, right? The artist's soul, the creative soul is a tortured soul, right? We're able to find the teardrop and the teardrop in the river, right? And then make the track, right? Or create the art or write the poetry, whatever it might be. Um, all right. Yes. See, yards. I get it. I get it. Right. I totally get it. That's what I'm saying. I was like, oh my gosh, yeah. All right, for our third card, right? This is the Harmony Booster, right? This is relating to bringing more harmony and balance or pleasure into our lives. And what we have here is the Queen of Pentacles, right? The ultimate, right, of embodied experiences. And this, so the way that we tap into this Venusian energy through the Queen of Pentacles and create more joy is by really tending to the garden of your life. This is where, like this week, I want you to really survey the garden that is your life and ask yourself, what is doing really well for me right now? And how can I improve on that? And what isn't doing so well for me right now? Venus is in Scorpio. So this is a time where it can be easier for us to let something go, to say, okay, you know what? I've worked really hard on this. I gave it my best shot. I really wanted it to work, but it's just not giving what it needs to give or where it's at, where it's supposed to be. I'm going to let it go in grace and love so that I can divert that energy, time, and time, effort, resources, etc., to the things that are actually working, right? To the things that are already growing. And there's this thing that we have as human beings called the sunk cost fallacy, right? And it's basically where we say to ourselves, oh, no, I can't quit this now because I've put too much time into it, or I can't stop doing this because I've put too much money into it, or do you know what I mean? Like, and we convince ourselves to flog a dead horse after that thing is well and truly perished. Why? What is the point? Find a way to just literally let it go and say, okay, you know what? That didn't go as I would have liked it to go, but nothing ventured, nothing gained, and nothing is truly wasted. What have I learned from that that I can apply to other things in my life? All right, so Keisha says, Raf, we would be great friends. My filters are on only by the sheer grace of the universe. Same. But they are very, very faulty. Holding spicy words in is a challenge and a half. And when you're out here in in these YouTube streets, you need to censor your business, right? Trust me, I get it. Um, when it's a recorded video, I think they kind of let it slide a bit more, but when you're live, you do tend to get a bit of a tap on the wrist for it. Um, yeah, listen to Shabuzi. He's brilliant. He's really, and do you know what? Talking of like a tortured soul, that's a Venus in Scorpio soul, if ever I knew one. It's just, yeah, when you listen to some of his lyrics, they're really deep and really beautiful. Jolie James, what are you planting? Quite literally, like what is worth keeping? All right. Heidi, I love you right back. Radiant Reality, Radiant Nation, the Radiant Riders, you guys know I absolutely love you. Elizabeth Aguilar, Southern California, Riverside County here, rural area, country music is very popular. Come and visit and we'll go to concert. Listen, I keep telling you, you guys are out here inviting me. I swear to you. Do you know what? I got so many people that say that. I would probably never leave the US. Don't tempt me. Right, here and the Moon Farm. Oh my God, I love that. What a nice name. All right, so let's get into the breakdown for the four element groups of the signs. And the cards have spoken. So, for the fire signs, oh, okay, no, too many. All right, so for the fire signs, if someone could just say stop in the we will keep you. I love that. Yeah, and then after Heidi, I'll come up to the to Canada. I'll make my way across country and then go upward and then make my way back through Canada. That would be a whistle stop tour, wouldn't it? Oh man, that would be incredible. All right, so the sign by sign breakdown. Let's do it. All right. Fire signs, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, you have the King of Swords. Really, the way that you do this, right? If you are a fire sign, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, this week to tap into your Venusian energy or the Venusian energy that is available, this is really about honing the expertise that you already have. You're being encouraged to really look at what you are very good at and start leaning into and perfecting that. This week, you don't need to reinvent the wheel. This is about perfecting what you're already doing really, really well, because this is the card of the expert. It's the card of the person that's already reached a certain level with what they do, right? So you lean into that this week. The other thing with the King of Swords, make it official, right? Like just make it official. That's the way forward for you guys. So Oliver Twisted says you can't leave the UK, Raf. You're not allowed. Heron Moon, Taurus Garden says you're starting in Puerto Rico. Oh yes, and continue from there. Heidi says Canada will keep you. Laurel says we will keep you. Oh man, I'm feeling the love. You guys are excellent. Thank you so much. Um, all right. For those of you that are air signs, Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra, you have the Hanged Man. So this week, the gifts of Venusian energy for the air signs, Aquarius, Gemini, Libra, it's about delving into the depth of self to understand what your soul is trying to share with the world at this moment in time. So there's a very deep message for the air signs this week. It's almost like you're being encouraged to really dig into what your soul wants to share creatively out there into the world. And the thing with the Hanged Man, this is a very spiritual energy that can lead to reassessment and reevaluation. But sometimes when you think about all of the arts, music, drama, dance, painting, singing, even, they're expressions of feeling that escape the body through some kind of medium. And so this week, you're really being encouraged to find a way to dig into what you feel and get that out into the world. This can be that you whack some music on and you dance it out, or you sing it out, or you decide, you know what, I can't paint for toffee, but I'm going to paint anyway because it makes me feel good. This is about really finding within you the part of your soul that wants to express itself. Like me personally, I love to sing, right? I love to sing, I love to dance, and I will at the top of my lungs, my poor neighbors, right? Because I'm telling you, like, and I got out of the habit of this for a really long time, but now slowly, like I can feel it coming back. Like I'll do a little bit of a hum, when I'm washing the dishes, and slowly but surely it's returning. So it feels good to do that. But there's going to be more of it. Hell yeah. All right. For the water signs, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, you have the Five of Wands, right? So the Venusian energy wants you to get fired up this week. You got to find it in you to chase something. This is about really getting serious, and well, not even serious, but oh no, I lie. Sorry, it's not the Five of Wands, it's the Five of Swords. So the Venusian energy is asking you to find a way to fight for what you believe in a diplomatic way. Right. So if there's something that and the feeling that I get from this for the water signs is if there's something that you've been denying yourself because you don't want to hurt this person or you like you're fighting with yourself at the moment. And the truth is, this is a moment where you're supposed to give to yourself. And so you got to fight that battle internally to say, okay, you know what? Maybe this isn't going to be what people want from me, but it is what I want for me. All right. So, water signs, time to do this for yourself. And then finally, last but definitely never least, the earth signs, Taurus, Capricorn, or Virgo. You have the Seven of Cups. So the way that you tap into your Venusian energy this week is to really delve into the mystical, right? This is, aside from all of its other meanings, the Seven of Cups has a very mystical energy about it because there's a feeling that you could do anything. So this week, if you're an earth sign, you might really get that feeling of like anything's possible. And then it's like, don't let your monkey mind then step in and say, well, if anything's possible, what do I do? Which one's the right one? And Forget all of that. Just play around in that possibility. Like, ooh, there are so many options here. There's so many ways I could go. Play around in that space because that's really where the magic is. All right. Okay. So, for those of you that are continued subbies, thank you so much for being here. Me too, love singing and dancing. Jolie James says, I feel that so much. Venus is on my sun and Uranus. Okay, right. So you're getting a massive activation right now. Nice. Tap into that. Venus is in my first house in Aries. So I mean, if your first house is Aries, by transit, Venus is currently in your eighth house, Heidi. Um, if you're an Aries ascendant. Uh, oh, Asleep by Nine says the tourist garden. He can't start his tour in PR because he will never leave. Like, yeah, absolutely. Elizabeth says, I completely understand. I'm playing in an orchestra again. Wow, that's incredible. Yeah, beautiful. Really, really beautiful. Yeah, what a way to go. Hair in the Moon Farm. Venus is on my Scorpio ascendant right now. What do you want? What do you feel like you need? What do you want to attract to yourself? Because right now, you have a chance to pull it in. You have a chance to really effectively draw to or attract to you the things and people that you need. It's like people hear you more. They are more attracted to you. They're more diplomatic towards you. So whatever you want or need, ask for it right now. And if that means you've just had a 12th house eclipse as well. So pretty potent time for you. Tracy, 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 we're gonna be getting together next week. So cool. So, so cool. Ew. Oh my gosh. Where have you been, Mama? Oh my gosh. I miss you. I miss you. I miss you. I got so many good people in the car. Like, this is one thing that I love about this community. You guys always show up when you can, and it's always such a pleasure and such a joy to see you in my comments, right? So thank you so much. I wish you all an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a fantastic weekend. Let me know how this shapes up for you. Come back to this video and yeah, let's talk about it in the comments. With that said, remember to embrace the honesty, embrace the depth, embrace the darkness and the gritty. You're going to find so much power in that space of yourself and in your chart. And remember, not everything that is dark is bad, right? Don't get into that trap because there's so much untapped potential in the spaces that we don't look into for ourselves. With that said, have a fantastic weekend. Share this with somebody that you know might love it or might get something out of it. I appreciate you so much for being here. Have a wonderful, wonderful